All right, so we're going to look at last week's Bellringers. We're reading the poem This Is Not a Small Voice by Sonia Sanchez. The first step we're going to take is we're going to do a close read and then we'll look at the questions. This is not a small voice you hear. This is a large voice coming out of these cities. This is the voice of Latanya, Kadesha, Shaniqua. This is the voice of Antony, Daryl, Shaquille. Running over waters, navigating the hallways of our schools, spilling out on the corners of our cities. No epitaphs spill out of the river of their mouths. This is not a small love. This is not a small love you hear. This is a large love, a passion for kissing, learning on the face. This is a love that crowns the feet with the hands and nourishes, conceives, feels the water sails, mends the children, folds them inside our history where they toast more than the flesh, where they suck the bones of the alphabet and spit out the closed vowels. This is a love colored with the iron of lace. This is a love initialed Black Genius. This is not a small love, a small voice you hear. So we're going back to that very beginning. This is the very beginning lines, and they're sort of just repeating it. A reminder, this is not a small voice you hear. Let's go back to the top. This is not a small voice you hear. This is a large voice coming out of these cities. So, when you first read this, we look at it, this is not a small voice you hear, and you think, well, we're talking about the person speaking, And then this next sentence, this is a large voice coming out of these cities, kind of makes it broader. So at first glance, it sounds like she is saying that this is not a small voice. This being the speaker, right? But the next sentence broadens the scope, coming out of these cities. Now we think, okay, maybe this is about a group of people, not just one voice.
Ms. Holland, you're in the building. Can you please call the 948 front desk, please?
Maybe this is about a group of people, not just one voice. This is the voice of Latoya, Kadesha, Shaniqua. This is the voice of Antony, Daryl, Shaquille, running. So we've got these names. And so now our ideas have been affirmed. It's a group of people she's referring to. Running over waters, navigating the hallways of our schools, spilling out the corners of our cities. We're back to that idea of cities. And no epitaphs spill out of the river of their mouths. Now, this can be taken several ways. But, running over waters. Running over waters. Can we run over a water? Can I speak? Can we run over water? There's only one person that, in history has been mythed to have walked on water. That's Jesus, right? That's a biblical allusion. So running over water, navigating the hallways of our schools, spilling out the corners of our cities. So I think it's interesting that we have this biblical allusion. So we've got a allusion to the Bible, and that's not spelled correctly, excuse me. Oh, no, it is. All right. Allusion to the Bible and Jesus, right, with that running over water. And then we've got, navigating the hallways of school. Navigating the hallways of school. So this education idea that pops up in the second stanza. And then it says spilling out on the corners of our cities. So I guess this is sort of how I imagine it. And, remember, I'm not a fantastic artist, but how I sort of imagine it is that's not a pencil. This is a pencil. Why is life so hard, y'all? All right, so I sort of imagine it that this is our school, at the front door. So we've got these people, they're navigating the hallways, right, inside. And then out here, this is the road. We've got a corner, right? And, the final bell rings and people are, hold on, I don't like that. And people just spill out, you're running and leaving, zoop, and they spill out onto the corners. And they sort of are just there. They're on the corners of the city. They're not within the confines of the school anymore. So they leave school. And then what? What happens next? And then we've got this sort of weird sentence that says, no epitaphs spill out of the river of their mouths. Do we know what an epitaph is? Epitaph. Let's look it up. All right, so an epitaph is the phrase or form of words written in memory of a person who has died, especially in the inscription of a tombstone, right? So it says, let's come back up, wrong tab. So it says, no epitaphs spill out of the river of our mouths. So, we've got this water imagery coming back. We were running across water, and now we're, no epitaphs spill out of the river of their mouths, no death messages. All right, so they're not dying on the streets of the cities? Maybe, I don't know. Interesting. So this is not a small love you hear. This is a large love, a passion for kissing learning on its face, right? So, we're going back to, we were at a school building. And so this person is passionate. I'm imagining like a high school age student. And so I kind of love how this poem is sort of debunking. It uses, this is not a small love, and you automatically think of, romantic love. But what she's really referring to is, learning and education. So a passion for kissing learning on the face. This is a love that crowns the feet with the hands, that nourishes, conceives, feels, and the water sails. Mends the children. And I don't know why, but that makes me think of biblical imagery too, because, we had God in the Bible and Jesus were very famous, right, for helping people, for healing the blind and all of that good stuff. All right, then we have folds them inside of our history where they toast more than the flesh. Okay, so where they toast more than the flesh. And I love that because, yet again, we're going back to, we're not worried about romantic love. We're toasting more than flesh. Where they suck on the bones of the alphabet and spit out closed vowels. Suck on the bones of the alphabet. And we were saying up here, epitaph, bones. See, you could take this in so many different ways. It's interesting. And spit out the closed vowels. It is a love colored with iron and lace, a love initialed, black genius. This is not a small voice you hear. Frankly, y'all, I read this as slam poetry. And slam poetry is a little bit different than classical poetry. Let's look up a definition of slam poetry. All right, so a poetry slam is a competition arts event which poets perform spoken word poetry before the live audience. Okay, hold on. I guess I need to say spoken word poetry definition. An oral poetic performance art that is based okay, well, whatever. Look up spoken word sometime or slam poetry, and you'll hear there's a difference between classic poetry and slam. I'm not getting a good definition, but that's okay. All right, so which of the following identifies a main theme within the poem? I think we can probably figure this one out. Hold on. All right, so which of the following identifies a theme within the poem? We're going to look at these answer choices. Change can only be created by those who are heard. I think that's a pretty good answer. Wouldn't you think? Change, they're saying, over and over again, change. Well, no, they're not really saying anything about changing, but they are saying over and over again that they want to be heard. These people that are speaking, they're not small voices and they want to be heard. I'm going to leave that up there. It is important to consider the other's opinions and beliefs. That's really not at all what they're talking about. I can't even reason that one. A tough education is key to success and happiness. Now, they are talking about education, but they're not really saying it needs to be tough. They're just saying, this person is passionate for education. So, bye. All right, and then unity is the key to well-being, strength, and resilience. Okay. So, I think this is a possibility, right? I do. It makes sense. So looking at these two, I think this one's a tough question. I'm going to be real, very, very frank with y'all. I think this is a tough question. So what you need to do is you've got to go back and look for specific evidence. So are they anywhere talking about change in this poem? Voices coming out of the cities. They list a whole bunch of people, those voices, whole bunch of people, the voices, running, epitaphs. I'm not seeing anything about change. In contrast, we do have a little bit about unity and strength and resilience. No epitaphs. We're not going to just die. We're not going to roll over and die. And then we've got the unity of this list of names, these people. It's the voice of. This is pieces of unity. And this is hard. This one is particularly difficult. And I understand that. But you just sort of have to look at the text over here and try to think, okay, which one makes the most sense? And that can be difficult. All right, so how does the speaker's personification of learning in lines 14 through 16 contribute to the poem? Okay. So let's look. I don't exactly know which lines. Hold on, let me go. We have pulled it up on Common Lit so we can actually see the paragraph numbers. All right, so line 14 through, okay. So this is, okay, that's what I thought it would be. This is not a small love you hear. This is a large love, a passion for kissing learning on its face. So how does that line right there, how did those 3 lines contribute to the overall meaning of the poem? So we've got, it shows that love is closely linked with knowledge. It shows that all people long to learn and grow. You hear, this is a large love, a passion. No, it's not talking about learning and growing. It's sort of making a comparison between love and knowledge. It proves that there is a love for education inside every person. I don't think so. I think it's more referring to that this particular person has a passion and a love for learning. It stresses that the strongest love is the love for knowledge. Now, I also disagree with that. I don't feel like they're debunking the importance. Can you all tell that debunking is my favorite word today? I don't feel like they're saying, love for knowledge is the most important thing. I think they're just very simply saying that love is closely linked to knowledge. Boom, and we're done. That was a short one. Hope y'all are having a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.